is Tuesday, March 23rd, and this is the third period class recording for Math 1B. I did just go in and change the order of your module, so it is different than what it was even in second period. So on our Tuesday page, which you cannot view the Tuesday page unless you mark Monday's page as done. So if you have not done that, you need to do that now. Everybody was given the paper copy in class for the e-math assignment that I wanted everyone to watch last night and do today. So for this assignment, and I can't do anything until I submit the Quizlet. But for that assignment, it was just a video, and that's all you had to watch. So I'm going to come around and collect those in just a moment once we start our Quizlet live game. Then we had the Quizlet Learn assignment. Click the image to open the Quizlet set and play the Learn game. Learn all 16 terms until they are all known well. Then submit a screenshot. Ask for help in class if needed. So this is the picture that I want you to click. And this is the Learn game that I want you to play. So I'm going to come around and collect those of you guys that did complete your e-math for Tuesday. If you did not complete it, then that's just more work that you have to do tomorrow. Thursday is your last chance to earn credit for that, and it is on the calendar for Thursday. So make sure your name is on it if you did complete it. For those of you guys that did this on time, I'll give you guys a couple bonus points. So when we do stuff right, when we do those acknowledgement for that. So right now I should see everybody playing the Learn game. All right, so we're going to review this again. So in second period, I went through these first few problems on the Kuta assignment. And I'm going to pause and freeze to make sure everybody gets there before I move on. When we're looking at the dot plots, you need to understand that each dot represents a data point. So we're given this list of numbers. We've got 4 13s, 2 14s, 1 15, 2 16s, 3 17s, 2 18s, and 1 19. So that's what we're trying to match up on this little bar graph here. So if we're looking at this, the first thing I need is 4 dots under 13. So A, B, C are all ruled out based on just that very first thing that we're looking for. And then we can verify that the rest of it is true by looking at the rest of the data. Does that part make sense as far as figuring out how to set up the dot plot? Does anybody have questions about the dot plot? That was probably the most straightforward one. So the same thing for 1 and 2. Number 1 is D, number 2 is C. Understand that your answer choices are scrambled. So if you're looking at this on your computer, don't just go to the last one. Okay, D has to be the right answer. You have to actually look at it and match it. So our answer has 4 dots under 13. Number 2 answer has 5 dots under 4. So that's how you need to make sure that we're finding the right answer. Does that make sense? Okay. So then we have box and whisker plot. So this looks a little crazy, but if we look at the colors, it makes it a little bit easier to figure out what's going on. So the first thing that we use is our max and min. So I had the 22 circled. So we're looking at our max and min. So our first dot should be at 13. Our last dot should be at 22. None of the rest of those worked out. So yes, this is 13 for each of these, but this is like 24 and a half. This is like 23 and a half, and that one's greater than 24 as well. This is the only one that is at 22. We find the median. So this green line right here is the median. And it's also Q2. That's our second quartile. And we'll learn more about all the vocabulary of this as we go through these lessons. So to find the median, in green here, I crossed out one number from the lowest side and one number from the highest side. Raise your hand if you've done mean, median, and mode in the past, if you have any recollection of this. This is something that we've been exposed to. It might have been in 7th or 8th grade, so I know it might have been a while since we've seen it, which is why we're doing it again. So when I cross those out, I get 17 in the middle. Where am I? Let's see where I did this. So I get 17, this green circle right here, that's my middle. Now, to find Q1 and Q3, I have to figure out what is the middle of the lower half of my data. So if we're looking at the lower half of our data, and I cross off one number from each side, we get these two 16s in the middle. So, and because I have an odd number, or because, because I have an odd number, I'm going to end up with two numbers in the middle. But because they're both 16, then I don't have to do a whole average thing because it's the same number. So that's how we know that that is 16. Now for the Q3, that part was a little bit trickier because then I have 19 and 21. But realize that in the middle of 19 and 21 is 20. So that's how we get Q3 there. So that's kind of confusing right there. So the median is Q2. This last line right here is Q3. So I'm going to give us the answer to number 4 because that one is, those numbers are just so large and it makes it more difficult to figure out this plot. So that one is C. So we're looking at the box that has my median is closer to this side. So if we're looking at our data, this scale is just not very friendly to look at. Because if we're trying to figure out between 440,000, 460,000, yeah, that one is just trickier to even try and figure out what the scale is. So try and match the picture of where the box is. I won't give you, there won't be any questions this difficult on any of your test or quizzes for the class. And even on the exam, even on the Math 1 exam, it won't be something like this. It will be way more descriptive or way more detailed than that. So that one is C. So that's why I put at the top of this page that this is going to be, it's not going to be just for completion, but I'm not going to give you guys your actual raw score of what you get on this because I understand that some of this stuff is a little bit trickier and it's with questions like number 4, it's going to be a lot easier to make a silly mistake. So then looking at 5 and 6, we're trying to figure out a histogram. How many 12s do I have? 1. So is A my answer? No, because it says I have 2 12s. Could B be my answer? Possibly. What about C? Why not? It says 1. So we're talking about 12. You're getting ahead of me. Then go ahead. Are you holding your AirPods case in your hand right now? Put it in your book bag. In your book bag. If I was in a bad mood, I would give you detention for that, but I'm in a good mood. Don't do silly stuff like that. There's no reason for you to have your AirPods in the middle of class. So Jack is right. There is no 13 right here, so that's why C is not the answer. A is not the answer because I had two 12s. And D is not the answer because I have two 14s. So just based off of process of elimination, we can figure out what our answer should be. So we have 1 12, 1 13, 2 14s, 1 15, no 16s, 2 17s, 2 18s, and 1 21. So that's how we set up the histogram. So for these ones, 6 is a little bit trickier, but I feel like we should be able to figure it out just because the bar graphs are a little bit easier to read. And we'll go over 7 through 10 on Thursday. So now everybody go back to Canvas. And notice here that we have Quizlet Learn says submit. And then under that, we have lesson 6.1 notes day 2. So now I want everybody that has not finished Quizlet to go finish Quizlet and submit your screenshot. So that's what we're doing first. For those of us that have completed it, we can begin copying our notes. So these notes are just an overview of box plots, not box plots, dot plots and histograms. That's what this first couple of pages are. So we have the definition, we have some examples, we have some comparison, and in second period, we didn't even talk about this part yet. So this is stuff that we will finish reviewing Thursday. But for right now, I want to make sure that everybody finishes Quizlet because tomorrow, I'm going to pass out your notes packet. Because if we look at the calendar, it's being very slow. We have a lot of due dates that are coming up. So even though there's nothing that has to be submitted today, looking ahead to Wednesday and Thursday, Quizlet and Delta Math are both due tomorrow. That's why I want to give you guys class time to work on Quizlet now so you can spend most of your time tomorrow on Delta Math. And then the Kuta that we were just looking at was due Thursday, which we will review the second half of those problems in class. But the most important thing is that we get that e-math video and the Quizlet done. So I really want us to have that e-math video done before we come to class Thursday. So I'm going to put this, and this is in student view, so it's not going to help me. But I'm going to change that to 8 a.m. or something, so it's at the top of the page, because that was supposed to be done last night, and I only put it as due Thursday so that you guys had that last chance to actually get it done. So for those of us that are working in Quizlet, great. I'm going to pass out your notes packet to start copying that, and then we have about 15 minutes left in class. Some of us might finish copying notes, and we'll have time working on Delta Math. But I would focus on understanding what these questions are actually saying. Please don't just copy the letters and numbers from the screen to your paper. Please try and make sense of it all. So we'll review that first lesson on Thursday. So that's pretty much all we're going to do for the rest of class today. So I'm going to stop the recording.